Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back today to do another tea reading as part of my spring inspired series. I'm using dandelion tea, but there's also nettles in there, and yerba mate and echinacea. And I decided to do this because I had pulled some dandelions yesterday and I made a dandelion tea, and I was like, I'm just going to read, from, the things that are inspiring me right now. And the first topic I already posted, and that one was hopes, dreams, and wishes. And this one is some of the tougher messages, because dandelions grow in very tough, harsh conditions. They're one of the first things that pops up in the spring after a very long, hard winter when the ground is tough. They manage to kind of grow in tiny little bits of sand and soil, in concrete, in the cracks of concrete. So this is where I wanted to be very open about some of the harder, tougher messages that might come through this reading. Okay, and I'm specifying that first off because some people might want to watch some of my other content instead. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means it's not really entirely on the positive stuff. A lot of people right now really are seeking more light, positive messages, inspirational messages, things that they want to believe. And this one is going to be a tougher one because, and I pulled some of the pebbles that I have, and this pearl here, which represents grit. It's kind of like more of a gnarly kind of reading, to be honest with you. It's got, it reminded me of like sand and soil and dirt and cement and anything that's like rough or abrasive. We have rocks, and I pulled this because it's just kind of like a tough piece of. It reminded me of cement, and so that's what it represents. Cement. These crystals have like this abrasive kind of broken edge. And I was like, I'm going to record a video on this topic, on some of the rougher, kinds of things that people can experience, or what I see as far as some of the tougher messages that want to come through. Sometimes we need tough love in life, and sometimes we need perseverance. And, it might be interesting to see if any kind of hopeful messages come through, despite the fact that I'm really specifying that this is going to be focused on some of the tougher things. Okay, before I jump in, I do want to say a big thank you to everybody who's been supportive and donated to my channel. Normally I do tea readings over on the Whale Called Moon, but I've kind of decided to upload more to Oracle Daphne, and just because Oracle Daphne has a larger audience. But definitely check out my Well Called Moon if you like channel, if you like this kind of style of reading. And if you can, please donate. I appreciate all of it. My videos won't get seen if they don't get any likes at all, so please like and drop something in the comments. You can drop a dandelion or a little flower in the comments, or a rock if you want. Thank you so much for just everybody. There's been a lot of support for this channel and for everybody who's continued to watch this content. So I'm gonna jump in and see what we got. I feel like some of you are suffering from like a lack of motivation, or suffering from a low energy, or just feeling like like a low level of maybe burnout, exhaustion, or just like a level of not really, not necessarily having a lot of get up and go energy. I am seeing one of the messages that someone is going to come through for someone. Someone needs to hear that they need to join a gym. I'm seeing specifically a gym. They need to start lifting weights. And it's interesting because, with that heavy element, that harder element that I'm, really focused on, I'm seeing the weights from the gym. So like some of you really need to start lifting weights. If you don't have hand weights, you need to get hand weights. Put them around in your house or your apartment and start lifting hand weights. If you already have them, pick them up again, start working with them again. Even just lifting a few pounds a day is going to make a huge difference to your overall health and well-being. It's one of the messages that's coming through, but some of you just need to join a gym. You need the support though. So I would go to like a YMCA or something like that, where there's support, people that's going to support you in your weight loss journey or support you in life. You know, it's almost like the element of needing to be, in some way, okay, this has got a very David Goggins message coming through. Some of you need to be told that you need to just get off your butt and go do something. Like, do something with your life. Do something with the gifts that God has given you. Do something in your life. Do something for other people. Do something about your lack of energy or your lethargic energy or your lack of motivation. You know, some of you need to watch David Goggins. It's very interesting because his whole motto is to stay hard. And it's funny because this reading is a Dandelion tea reading about harder, tougher messages. So the harder, tougher messages, some of you just need to get off your butt. Stop complaining. Maybe some of you just need to go back to school. Maybe some of you just need to go apply to stuff. Maybe some of you need a kick in the butt to go do something specific with your life or do something specific in your life. Some of you are struggling to like, this is going to sound like an interesting message, to sort of forge your way. I call it forging your way in life. Some of you may still live at your parents' house, or you may still struggle with bills, or you may still not necessarily have what you need. And what's hard about this message is that in some way your life itself has been hard. There's some element where you're maybe struggling to make your way in the world. And I feel there's a collective a confusion about this, about where things are going, where the world is going, where the earth is going, where like the collective energies of people are going. Some of you may feel that things are not going in a good direction with the earth or with the planet. Some of you may feel that the post-pandemic world is not the same as what it was pre-pandemic, and I'm going to validate you and say that that's true. It doesn't feel the same. It feels very, very different. Some of you are struggling to get out of a relationship. The hard message is you just need to like really be cut and dry. Like some of you are struggling to let go of things from the past or struggling to let go from people in your life. You know, those of you who have strong Scorpio or Cancer placements, you know, I'm seeing like this, you know, a person that I once knew who really struggled after being let go of a job to get really over that experience. I'm also being shown a relationship, that I knew of a couple where they just kept arguing. They just did not know how to stop. And so like there's something in your life that maybe that you're doing that you're finding very challenging to stop. I don't necessarily feel like it's addictions. It could be, but I don't feel that. I feel like mostly it's like a life situation, or it's like either your life situation, your life in itself, or a relationship that you're in, or people in your life that you just are having a tough time with, because like it's kind of like you're damned if you do or damned if you don't kind of energy. You know, you're damned if you stay with that person, but you're also damned if you leave. Some of you may have kids. I'm seeing some of you just like you're like, I have to get out of this relationship. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this relationship. And it's like a cycle. It's a pattern. You're very, you know, I also feel like some of you are very close to a specific person and you're really struggling with that. Like there's a closeness that you feel with someone, and you're really struggling to let that person go if that needs to happen, or just in general, there's something really tough relationship wise that's coming through that I'm seeing. Maybe it's just cutting somebody off and being done with it. For some of you, it's literally just packing your bags and going. For some of you, not being able to jump ship when you need to jump ship. So the tough message here is to pack your shit and leave, and do it immediately. And don't look back. And there's some people that will not let you out of their life, or try not to let you out of their life. This is very, like, has a very strong Taurus vibe. I'm picking up Taurus in general. The Taurus vibe is very sticky. It's very interesting. There was this guy who was like really into me, and he wouldn't leave me alone. And I had to like make really, really strong boundaries, and really be like, no, like, you have to stop. Like, you have to stop. Leave me alone permanently. And some of you are going to be going through a time where you have to put in very firm boundaries. You're going to have to say things, and you're going to have to do things, and put in very strong, like, clear cut, boundaries, rules, whatever you want to call it, in your life or with specific people. That's what I'm seeing. There's a message about grit. Okay, and what else? Messages about grit. There's some tough messages here about things that are very private, very personal to you. In some regard, I feel like it's almost like dirty laundry kind of stuff. Very private, very personal stuff. I almost feel like for some of you, this is a time to be more private. The hard messages is like, people close to you, things that are personal or private, they might use against you in some regard. But I feel like it's less about that. It's more like, okay, I want to say judgments. It's judgments. It's what it is. It's like somebody else like trying to drag you through the mud. And it's judgments. It comes from judgments, other people's judgments. I don't like it. It's an energy where, it's like fighting dirty. That's basically what it is. It's fighting dirty. It's fighting bad. I think it's Nicki Minaj who said, I don't know if it was Nicki Minaj who said, but I think it was, who said, when somebody fights dirty with her, she takes it to hell. So like when somebody's fighting dirty, I mean, basically you go lower. Basically, you can either fight, take the high road, or you go lower. And I feel like this is going lower. This is below the belt. This is stuff that comes up. Hard conversations, the challenging messages that you're going to have some very hard conversations with people. Or you're going to, I don't know, like, to me, it's just like hard conversations, even in work situations. I feel like some of you are dealing with just a tough employer where there's a lot of rules, a lot of restrictions, a lot of hoops you got to jump through. To me, it's reminding me of this review, okay, of this, I want to say a bank, okay, I'm not going to say which one, but he specifically said he would rather shovel pig shit in Michigan than work for such and such bank. And some of you you're dealing with issues around maybe money, or issues just around like employers. To me, it's work issues. It's work. It's like tough stuff with your boss, tough stuff with employees, tough employers. Just tough, I don't know, tough energy is that you're going to have a lot of grit in order to get through it. And I remember specifically working at a specific place, I'm not going to say where it was, where, people started getting fired. And I started to get like nervous. I started to go, okay, like, what are they going to try next on the next person kind of thing. And so some of you might be in that kind of place where it's very sharky. There's a lot of sharks, and there's a lot of people that you got to have to look out for. And those of you who are employed, okay, not everybody's employed, but those of you who are employed, that's a tough message. Really having to look out for yourself. In general, those of you who are single and, fabulous, and, you might be having to look out for yourself a lot during this period of time. Like, just a lot, where you have to watch your own back, and you have to cover your own stuff, and you have to really fight for yourself. That's what I'm seeing. The tough messages is like, again, it's like that dandelion, blooming, coming up through the cracks of the cement, which is like really having to fight for yourself, really having to, it's like squeezing through, still doing it even if you don't want to, pushing yourself to limits, pushing yourself through hard situations and hard, just overall energies. I feel like for some, like those of you who are going through a period of time where things have been wrong or things haven't gone right, I feel like squeaking up through the cracks somewhere, like squeaking through or getting through just by or just barely, with a few dollars left, hanging on by $1 in your checking account kind of thing. This is the kind of energy that we're talking about here. We're talking about just hanging in there, kind of, and having the grit to get through it and wait until things change. And I have to say that, planetary wise, we are headed into some very big changes as far as the planets. So we just had some large changes with Saturn and Neptune going into Aries, but we're going to have others because the North Node is going to go into the sign of Aquarius, and Jupiter is going to leave Cancer. And so I want to encourage you, though, those of you who have been like, okay, when's it going to be my time? When is it going to be better? Or when's it going to be easier? Or when is it going to be less challenging? Okay. Let me see here for a second. I do feel like some of you, you're going to get out of the environment that you're in. I feel like you're either going to quit your job, leave the place you're living. Yeah, I'm seeing that part of the movie, where this guy is complaining at a restaurant that the steak is not rare enough, and she goes out and she takes her fork. She's a chef, okay, and I forget the actress's name at this moment, but she's a chef, and she takes the fork and she slams the steak down on the tablecloth. He's like, "Are you crazy?" And then she pulls the tablecloth and rips it out, and it's just like she felt so great in that moment. Some of you are going to feel really good. You're going to have some moments where either your temper might get the better of you, or like you might gain some footing in situations that are hard. I feel like you're going to come out on top is what I want to say. The dandelion wins. The dandelion blooms no matter what. So like some of you need to hear that. Like that is a positive message, I think, coming out of this reading, because the things that my guides are showing me are not situations in which, a person loses. Usually, and I'm just going to say this, like from the history of all the things that I've read, the people in life that have gone through the most generally get the most abundance. They become usually famous or very fortunate. They hit the ground, the hard cement, and then they bounce all the way up to the top. People that dumpster dived, people that had nothing, people that ate garbage, they ended up in high positions of power. They ended up in places of very high status, very, very, very high. Like, you can't cheat when it comes to these kinds of karmic things. So for some of you, the positive messages, there might be a situation in which you go from rags to riches overnight, that you overcome your challenge, you get up and go, you do the damn thing. And by doing so, you, prove everybody wrong. I want to say prove everybody wrong. I'm getting a strong Kobe Bryant. You got to read Kobe Bryant's like 10 rules to live by. He was, one of his rules was prove everybody wrong. Do better every single day. Show up, and do the damn thing. I'm not going to tell you all of them. I don't even know if the third one was it, but you guys will get where I'm going with this. You're going to just have to really make like a personal code for yourself on how you want to live your life amongst or during this time in which things are hard or which things are challenging. Whatever your code is, okay? I do also recommend clearing the energy before you by making an announcement, like announcing that what your intentions are. So let's just say you need to get someplace. You need to and make the intention, I intend to get to my interview on time, or I intend to get to the bank on time. I intend to get to the post office before they close. I intend to win the lottery. I intend to, all these, whatever your intentions are, you need to announce them during the day. Some of you need to speak more out loud. There's so many people who do not believe in this, and I totally believe in speaking things into existence. So speaking your success into existence, clearing the way forward for yourself by your intention that you're going to make it. Say out loud, I'm going to make it. I can do it. These are all very important things when it comes to overcoming any challenges you might have. I'm going to have to leave off here. Thank you guys so much. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Wish you guys all the best. Take care.